shoulder hooping and hooping in general requires a lot of sensitivity. Tai Chi is the best way I know of to create that sensitivity for those purposes. So Tai Chi is based on the yin-yang symbol. The white side is the active principles in the universe, and the black side is the receptive principles, not the passive principles, but the receptive principles in the universe. And the white side has a black dot, and the black side has a white dot, because they play and interact with each other and they move around each other, kind of like in a dance. So basically there's two polarities. We have structure and stability, and we have wave. And that's true in basic physics. So also, besides structure and stability and wave-like, when we're doing hoop, we have the bumping or the pushing of the hoop, and when the hoop glides around the body. Okay, cut that. So shoulder hooping and hooping requires a lot of sensitivity. And the best thing that I know of to develop that sensitivity is Tai Chi. And let me show you what Tai Chi is based on. It's based on this symbol here. It's the yin-yang symbol, also known as the Tai Chi symbol. And what this symbolizes is the polarities of the universe, the active and the receptive, and they each have the other's dot in them. The white side has a black dot, and the black side has a white dot, and that means that they kind of dance and play and move around each other. So when you have the white side is the yang side, and it's active, and it's also structure, stability. In physics, it would be the particle. The other side is the wave side, and instead of particle, what you have is something that's transcending, and that side also emphasizes emptiness, void, space, nothingness, rather than the particle. So to do proper Tai Chi is a balance of the two, and 80% of Tai Chi that's taught in schools, the schools don't work. They're light exercise, easy exercise to do for seniors. You work your cardio, you move around. It's better than doing nothing, but it doesn't move the chi in the body, and it doesn't produce sensitivity that's needed to create certain results. So the idea is 15% of schools that do work do teach more of the structure stability side of Tai Chi. And they're about what is the best posture, the strongest posture to stand in. And what they do is they produce results like tightrope walking, unicycle riding. It's like if I grab two chairs and I lift myself up, and then I put my foot on the ground, I could feel the pressure on the ground. My foot will be pressurized. And from that, there's no reason for that pressure to stop. In my body, I should feel that going to the top of my head, and from that, I'm better balanced. So, yes, structure, stability, particle side of Tai Chi does work, and 15% of schools teach it. 5% of schools that work and teach true Tai Chi work with the wave side, and they produce the feeling of energy moving in the body. And to get that, you need emptiness. Because say I have a container of water and I'm going to turn it over and the water's going to move from side to side. If it didn't have space in there, the water would not go to the other side. So the idea is to feel the movement occur from side to side inside the body. And to do that, you need space. So what happens with that is that you move without moving, is how you produce it. Say, take a cup that's empty. You could put things in it because it has space. If it had a cork in it, then you couldn't put anything inside of it. And because for humans, when they're empty, you can put things on their nervous system. So let's break for now. Emptiness in the body is caused by the body relaxing. The feeling of relaxation is the feeling of the body disappearing. Not so that you don't see the body, but so you don't feel the body. And because you don't feel the body, you can feel everything else. It's like that cup analogy. When it's empty, you can put things in the cup. So when humans are empty, you can put things on the nervous system. So like the container, if I take my arm and I just relax my arm here, the weight is naturally going to fall into my elbow because gravity goes to the lowest point. So my elbow is going to be heavy, my fingers are going to be light. If I move my hand down, then gravity will fall into my fingers and make my fingers feeling heavier. And so it's that back and forth movement. It's a transition from one side to the other side. Okay, now my fingers are heavier and I'm going to feel the energy move into my elbow and back and forth. And so when that happens, I could feel the weight change, the energy move on the inside. So when I put an object on the outside of my body and I move it around with sensitivity, like shoulder hooping, if I could feel the energy moving on the inside, then I should be able to feel the hoop moving on the outside, because then it just becomes the other side. So Tai Chi is a form of moving without moving that produces the ability to feel the energy move so that I could come in contact with something and feel that. Now, how it works, an example of how it works is if I strengthen my arm right here and I can't move my arm, it's frozen. But if I can feel it frozen, then I can move around it. If I just resist myself on this line and try to push myself down, I'm resisting on this line, it's going to be very hard to push. But all I have to do is nudge it in the other direction, and it's very easy to move because it's strengthening on one line, and the human energy, when it's projected, can only be projected on one line. The same thing happens if I'm trying to push it over to the other side and I can't push it down because I'm resisting it, then I just change the line and my hand's very easy to move. So that's how Tai Chi is used as a martial art, but it could also be used in other things to develop sensitivity. Now, what yoga is union. It's a translation of yoga is union. So union is you have two objects and you make them one. So hooping is a union between yourself and the hoop. Tai Chi is union between you and the energy moving inside your body. Okay, let's break for now. Interesting? Yeah. To produce emptiness and relaxation, what I do is I move without moving. So the way that's done is if I take my hand and I drop it, gravity moves it, I don't move it. Because it's round, when I let it go, and I'm careful not to snap the elbow because that dissipates the energy, I want the energy to go into my fingers, so I extend my arm, and it goes around and comes back up. Now, if you noticed also, the hip moves, and the hip moves because the body is connected. So I'm putting my arm down, I'm picking my arm up, and I'm not moving my arm. Okay, cut that. Okay, I want to change the angle a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to pick the arm up without moving the arm. I'm going to put a straight line between my finger and my elbow, and I'm going to hold that straight line. I'm going to put it against the wall. I'm going to put my weight into my back foot. My back foot is the foot that's furthest away from the wall. I'm going to transfer from my back foot into my front foot. And when I do, there's going to be pressure that occurs on the wall. I'm going to feel it in my body. And so if the wall wasn't there, I wouldn't have the pressure. The pressure is stopping my hand from coming up. So if I put my weight in the back foot and change it into the front foot, my hand will come up. Okay. Elasticity, if I press my hand towards my body and let it go, it's going to shoot out. If I take my hands and move them into my body and apply pressure and then relax, my hand's going to come out because the body is elastic. So what I'm going to do is if I go into my back foot and relax, I'll go in my front foot. If I go in my front foot and relax, I'll come into my back foot. And so all of that is the body moving without moving. And the only part that's like a little bit mystical mumbo jumbo, but I like it because the person who created that did everything else, is that the tongue should be on the roof of the mouth. So if my teeth are here and that's top of my roof of my mouth and that's my tongue, I rest my tongue on my teeth and it touches the roof of my mouth. And what that does is it connects the channels in my body. The Kundalini energy in yoga goes up the back, the water energy comes down the front, and that connects this cycle. Okay, so now we'll move into doing some actual Tai Chi. So the exercise that I'm going to be teaching you is called Grasp Bird's Tail, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain first of all that if I turn my waist and relax, my hands will keep moving. Okay, and so what I want to do is I want to be moving and turning the waist, and it's kind of like a pendulum that swings back and forth by its own energy, up and down like that. So I think I'm screwing that up. I don't know, I'm getting nervous because I'm doing this. And it's an exercise from the form, and it's using the principles that I just talked about. I'm going to sit into this hip, and my body's going to do this kind of action, and it's going to roll back. That part's going to come up off the floor. I'm going to step, and my hand's going to come up like the wall exercise. I'm going to relax into the corner, sit back, turn my waist. My hand's going to come together. I'm going to come into my front leg. I'm going back leg, and then my front leg, and I can turn and do the same thing on the other side. And from this side, it would look like this. And what I'm doing is I'm feeling the energy move in my body as I move, because the momentum and the elasticity is moving me. And that's how Tai Chi worked. I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you.